welcome everyone. I am Safrina, founder of Feng Shui and Prosper, and today I have a very interesting topic. We are going to talk about Feng Shui and construction. Now, if you guys have studied classical Feng Shui specifically for any amount of time, you've probably come across of the idea that every year there are certain directions that you should not do your renovations at. And in fact, when I work with my clients who want to do their renovations, I do date selection, and I don't just cross out the bad directions based on the year. I cross out the bad directions based on the month and the day as well. That is when you get a more succinct, a better date selection pretty much to get the work started. But renovations and date selections or directions where you shouldn't be touching is definitely one of the things that most classical Feng Shui enthusiasts have come across, okay? Most of the time, it doesn't affect most of us. You know, like me here. I'm in a building, so I'm not allowed to do any renovations to my unit. But definitely, if you are in a house or if you buy a home and it's a fixer-upper, this is definitely a topic that would be of high importance for you guys. So let me just bring up my notes here. And I know there will be questions around this, so I will answer them at the end of the video. So every year, and you guys who are registered for my annual webinar, you know we talk about this as well, right? Every year, what are the directions that you cannot do renovations? Generally, okay, just to be on the safe side and not confuse you guys, generally, we are looking at 1, the Grand Duke direction, 2, the 3 killing direction, 3, the Sui Po direction, and then 4, we're looking at the flying stars. Specifically number 5, the 5 yellow or the Wu Huang. Now, how do you determine the Grand Duke direction? The Grand Duke direction is actually wherever the animal of the year is. So everyone thinks, oh, you know, like for this year, for instance, it's the year of the dog. Everyone thinks, oh, I'm born in the year of the dog. It's my year. It's my lucky year. Well, it can kind of be a good year, but you're hit with the Grand Duke direction. So next year being the year of the pig, or boar, those born in the year of the pigs or boars, they would be hit with the Grand Duke direction. And every animal sign has 15 degrees in the compass. So for the dog this year, for instance, they are northwest 1. So you should not do construction on a northwest 1 direction of your home, either internally or externally. Internally meaning within your walls, and externally could be like your front yard, your backyard, things like that, okay? So Sui Po is the second one. So once you determine the Grand Duke direction, the direction just across from it is the Sui Po. And that's another direction that you shouldn't do any renovations at. Now, let me do a caveat. Once, those of you guys who take my Feng Shui certification, there's another level to go through. But so this is good enough to start with, okay, in terms of figuring out directions. So, for instance, this year being the year of the dog, the compass direction across from it would be the dragon. So the 15 degrees on the compass that is considered like the dragon palace will be the Sui Po direction. There's no renovation at that area as well. And then there's also the 3 killings. The thing about the 3 killing direction is it hits the cardinal direction. Cardinal meaning north, south, east, west. And this is a little bit too long for me to go over, but if you can Google it, like 3 killings, how do you determine the 3 killings direction? then it'll tell you between north, south, east, west, what would be the direction that is the tree killings, therefore no construction. For this year, for instance, being the year of the dog, it makes the north direction the tree killing direction. Again, I'm not going to go through the nitty-gritty here. You guys feel free to Google that. But the north direction, then, because it has a tree killing, is a no-no for renovation. Now we go into flying stars. Flying stars, the first thing we look at is, okay, you look at the annual direction. Where is the number 5? You cross out the number 5. And this year is very interesting because this year in the north has tree killing and the number 5. So it's a double whammy in terms of no renovation. So if any of you guys are not aware of this, you ended up doing your construction or renovation or ground digging work in the north, you will likely find, or if you work back, you will likely realize that you started seeing a little bit more challenges after that. Okay, so what kind of challenges if you do what we consider disturbing the chi? So it could be injuries either to, let's say, the construction workers or injuries to the homeowners or your family. It could be delays in the project. The ones that I've seen, like the wrong stuff being ordered, or, things are finally shipped, but it's in the wrong quantity or things like that. So that obviously delays the project because many of the work can't happen until the materials are there fully. Contractual disputes. It could be disputes with the builders. It could be disputes even with your interior designers, your architects, and things like that. Or basically complications with the project that can turn a small project into a huge, extensive project, and not in a fun way. It's like, okay, you want it, and this one also happened, I've seen it where the owner wanted to just tear down the wall, and then realizing there were, the work wasn't done properly, and therefore that project had to be done in a larger scale than they had the budget for. So going over budget or going over the time that they had set in terms of doing whatever reno work or construction work, going over that is definitely a very common theme when you do construction in a bad direction. Okay. What is considered digging or disturbing the earth? So if the ground is actually dug up, so if you're, for instance, if you're planting a tree, a small tree is okay. We're talking about a fairly mature tree. Okay, obviously different trees mature with different heights and everything. But if you need to dig, I would say like 2 feet, deeper than 2 feet, then that's definitely you're activating the chi there. Or if you remove a tree, and we're talking about a big tree as well, like, just pruning your bushes or weeding, that's not an issue. Larger projects like building a pool, obviously you're digging a big hole for the pool. So that's considered disturbing the earth. And inside your home, renovations could be like, bringing a wall down, plumbing or electrical projects, tearing out counter surfaces or flooring. Okay, these are all like, taking out the tiles and stuff like that. These are all considered activities where you want to make sure, you want to take care a little bit more that you're not activating negative chi. Or exterior walls. You could be removing the exterior walls. You could be removing the window. Removing the door. Now, in my experience, some door removal actually are fairly quiet, a fairly simple activity. They just, unscrew the current door and then they put the new door in. If removing the door requires like, changing the frames and doing like more maybe knocking down the wall so you can put in a bigger door, then that would be considered, a construction thing to be mindful of. But if it's just simply changing the door with no other work around the frame and stuff like that, then I would not consider that to be a major task. Okay. What else is not considered a construction issue where Feng Shui is concerned, or construction in a negative direction is concerned, is moving furniture. You can do that anytime. Painting, you can do that anytime. Changing light fixture or changing the doorknob, that's not a big deal. Or planting flowers or just minor weeding, that's okay as well. Okay. If you have to get the work done, so this is the question that I get over and over again, especially like the roof. Because when you do the roof, it's not likely that you're only repairing part of the roof or replacing part of the roof. Most of the time it's done. Like the whole roof is replaced all at the same time. So obviously all the directions would be hit. So then date selection is really important. You should at least start in a good direction. And this is actually something that that doesn't get talked about very often, but just like, and actually I haven't talked about it much at all, but I will be talking about it tomorrow night. A little bit more info on that. Stay with me here. So if you need to work on the whole house, for instance, then you start in an auspicious direction, and then you can go to the rest of the directions. And those negative directions, you can put more metal element there. Okay. Some schools, and I've suggested this as well, is an all metal 6-rod wind chime if it's a small enough project, or even a permanent salt cure, just to kind of absorb the negative energy there. Okay. And so that is, let me take a look at questions. Do you guys have any questions for me? No. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm wilting a little bit, and I've been a little ill, so I'm trying really hard to keep the energy up here. But with that said, if you guys don't have any questions on that, I think it's actually, in terms of the guidelines for renovation, it's pretty straightforward. It is more of a hassle when you actually have a project that you're wanting to do. So let me tell you guys about my masterclass that is happening tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Tomorrow night is what I call the Construction Shah masterclass. So in this masterclass, what you guys will learn, those of you in Manifesting Code, you get access to this as usual. All the master classes are part of your Manifesting Code membership. Those who are not yet in Manifesting Code, you guys can take a look at this link that I have over here, bit.ly/constructionshah. That'll take you to the registration page, but let me quickly go through with you what the masterclass will cover. It will help you to determine, first of all, the Grand Duke, the Sweet Pot, and the 3 killings for the year. Okay. And for the month too. Basically the same thing can be transferred to doing your, picking the right month for your construction. Other flying stars that can also make construction tricky. We've talked about the number 5, but there are 3 more flying star numbers that can also, trigger some negative energy for the, for your renovation plans. And how to find construction days. This is the construction days will be something that's a little bit more in depth. So the master class, my intention anyway, is we would actually be focusing a little bit more on the date selection. So you will need either a Chinese calendar, if you can find a Chinese calendar, but those of you guys have my 2018 Feng Shui and astrology calendar, you should have that in front of you to help you in terms of crossing out bad days and also to figure out good days. to start your construction. So I think this masterclass should run about 1.5 hours, 2 hours tops, but that would definitely get you ready in terms of planning which part of your home you can work on for a specific year, for a specific month. And depending on the time, I might actually share with you guys a way to not just to remedy the bad directions, but also to activate the good directions. That's kind of connected to construction. I haven't used it very much, but the ones that I have kind of experimented with, we seem to see pretty amazing results. So I'm all about experimenting as well. As much as I learn new things, I experiment and then I look at the results. First, I experiment with my own thing here. And then if I see, just like the tapping into the heavenly, the nobleman luck, I tried it out myself first. And if I see it working really well, then I share it with other people. So again, happening tomorrow night is my Construction Sha Masterclass. So if you want to register, if you're not in Manifesting Code, you need to register to be part of this. So it's bit.ly/Construction Sha, and then I will send out the webinar link tonight, or tonight we will send out the webinar link, and we will take it from there. I'm going to say goodbye to you guys now, and then I'm going to go down for a nap. So, not feeling really well today. Thanks, everyone, for joining me today, and take care. This is Safrina Kadri from Feng Shui and Prosper, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I do try to put out a brand new video every week. So if you subscribe, then you can make sure that you don't miss out on any of the other content that will be coming out your way.